Sounds from the void.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Fan Mail Foods, episode
3.
Let's go.
Oh boy, what do we have here today? Is that Gavrilovic, family owned since 1690. Now, you're not really going to get a food that's been family owned since 1690 if you're not eating something imported, which we are today. The Gavrilovic pork luncheon loaf. Let's take a peek here. 150 grams, aka 5.3 ounces, Best Buy. Once again, you see it's imported there because it's got the European date structure, February 15th, 2019. So, damn, this is good for a long time. Let's see here. Pork luncheon loaf, FE40. I don't even know. This is some European stuff. It's got a little wine glass and a fork. Is it meant to be eaten with champagne? I mean, look at that nice lady. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So let's see what this can contains. But before we crack that can, let's go check in on a couple of my friends and see how they're doing. Hey buddy, how you doing? Do you want to be on Fan Mail Foods today? Do you want to be on Fan Mail Foods, huh? You got your own foods? Alright. I understand. Probably shouldn't be feeding you Croatian pork anyway, so. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And you're up here cuddling with your buddy, so when I crack that can, you probably won't be getting too nosy, which is good because you shouldn't be having any garlic Croatian pork loaf either. Alright, well, everything does seem to be in order, so I guess let's go ahead and pop this top. Now, before I get my real first look, my real first peek, I'm going to presume that this substance is meant to be a sandwich spread, I'm guessing, you know, maybe for crackers, but let's get this top peeled back and take a real good look. Alright, well, I guess for some reason I was thinking this might be like a Spam sort of product, but this kind of shows that it's definitely not. I mean, when you're getting the canned pork loaf, I mean, it is dense. Let's take a little sniff here. Yeah, it's very much got that salt pork smell, and I guess there's nothing left to do. I mean, we're getting a good look here, a good smell. Yeah, it's an inoffensive smell. It smells pretty good actually. It smells kind of like a lunch meat. You know, it sort of reminds me of a Spam smell, but it's not quite the same. So I guess let's go ahead and just get a little taste all on its own, and maybe we'll break out a cracker or something to try it on. Alright, there we are. We got a little bit on a fork here, and you can kind of see like the texture of it is, I don't know, it's a very malleable texture. It's not, you know, it's kind of has like this sort of flaked, fragmented appearance, but it comes out of this can very solidly, very easily scooped. So let me try a little taste here. Nice. No, just kidding. I'm not trying to rip off even more people. Alright, so it sort of has, you know, we're seeing, it had, I don't know, it's, I think it's just because it's so fatty. Like, it has the texture that you would almost expect out of a meat with more fillers in it, but it's not having like a smooth sort of texture for that reason. I think it's just because there's such a high level of pork fat in here. It's kind of like, I'm not sure, as far as I'm aware, this isn't supposed to be heated in any sort of way. It's quite good actually. It's not quite as, you know, when you have something like a Spam, it's very heavily salty and noticeable in the flavor, you know, like this does not have that sort of very salty flavor to it. It's a very mild flavor in that regard. I mean, the pork flavor is noticeable, but it's very mild though. Like, pretty much what I'm getting out of this is, you know, the main ingredient is the pork meat itself, but it's just very fatty. There's a lot of fat here, a lot of fat going on. That's pretty much just what you taste like. You can taste the pork, but it's sort of surrounded in the pork fat, which isn't bad, I guess. I mean, you know, that's your thing. You know, this might go good. I don't know if I have any crackers on hand, but I know I did just make some biscuits yesterday, so let's break out a biscuit and try some of this on a biscuit once. Now, this is certainly a biscuit that does not require any additional butter by any means, but you can kind of see, once again, I kind of sort of spread it out on the thing here. You can sort of just see how it is. You can see how, like I said, it's kind of flaky. You can kind of see it, like, you know, the pieces of pork and all, but I mean, the very high fat content, so it's sort of like it just kind of lends itself into a spread just based off of the high levels of fat. All right, we're gonna go in for a bite and see how this is. Now with that bite, I'm getting some of the initial flavor that I got from my very first bite, and it has sort of a, I guess you could say like a processed taste, because it immediately reminds me of sort of like a bologna, which is, you know, a very highly processed piece of meat made of, you know, if you're getting, I'm talking about like the cheap bologna. But it's not quite the same, but just the very first flavor I got off of it with my very first bite, and now just taking a bite out of that again as well. Maybe it's just the salty meat flavor I'm getting off that. But it's, you know, it's just, that's what comes to mind for me when I bite into that, is like a immediate sort of bologna memory center in my brain somewhere going off with that. But how do I feel about this product? Let's see. Now, this is a little more my speed compared to a seafood product, a fish product, that sort of thing. If this was fish, I probably wouldn't be as crazy about it. Not to say that I'm crazy about it now, but it's not bad. It's not bad by any means. Definitely not the most flavorful. Like I said, the flavor is very mild. It's very fatty, so it's just sort of like, I don't know, the best way to describe it, I guess, if you could find a way to maybe spice up the flavor a little bit, maybe a little hot sauce or something, you know, just to spice it up, the flavor a little bit. If you put it use it for a sandwich, you know, I don't think a slice of cheese would even be complimentary to this, just because it's so dense. But I mean, you know, it's pretty. I guess it's decent for keto. I mean, for one can, you got what, like, about, see, 260 plus 65, so over 300 calories in a little can, not even 9 grams of carbs, and you got, you know, plenty of fat and a decent amount of protein, I guess, here. Of course, nobody should probably be eating a lot of canned meat, but I guess if times are tough, you know, for what it is, I'm going to have to say probably it's pretty average, though, all in all, so I'm just going to say I'll give it a middle of the mark again. Maybe I guess a 5, because it's not bad, but it's not great. It's pretty average. I probably wouldn't really go out of my way for it, all things considered, but if the price is right, you know, it's got some fatty, dense meat substance. All right, my friends, well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Fan Mail Foods. This has been Croatian Pork Luncheon Loaf, and we'll see you next time.